vocabulary. Many of you are arguing right now and preparing to engage in the debate on homework, whether it should or should not be banned. Okay? For the team that is arguing that homework should be banned, the counter argument is homework should not be banned. All right? Now, when you are having that counter argument come at you in the debate, it will be very important that you know how to refute and engage in that refutation. So there's two separate ELD. There's pull-out and then there's integrated ELD. Within my classroom, an integrated ELD format would really look like explicit instruction, meticulous modeling, and then constant monitoring of students' language production in collaborative activities. Right? I have sentence stems. It says, to refute the counter argument, which is blank, I believe blank. This would refute the counter argument because. So what I would like you to do is prepare for sharing out with your groups, and I would like you to write this in your composition notebooks. So the tier 3 vocabulary word that I was teaching today was refutation. And part of the 6th through 8th writing goals for students in English language arts and ELD is to learn how to argue appropriately using reliable and relevant textual evidence. So my language objectives that I have incorporated in my lesson plans come directly out of the Common Core standards. And actually the ELD standards are woven in with the Common Core standards, so they all are related. My biggest focus with my language objectives that I have in my lesson plan is really to just get the students using purposefully the English language, whether it be written or whether it be speaking. Now, using your table placemats, number 1 should be in this section. Number 4 should be here. This is an A partner as it says in your corner. This is a B partner as it says in your corner. So I would like you to share with your A-B partners. So those are the people who are across from you. Now, I need you to also, while you are saying the word refute in your sentence stem, I would like you to make the hand signal, just so that you are practicing the sign language. And so that way, whenever you hear refute, you think about this and you're able to put 2 and 2 together. And it'll help you recall, oh no, right? Refute means to prove somebody wrong, okay? All right. At this point, I'd like partner 1 or partner A to share with partner B. Begin.
Oh, okay. So I put, to refute the counter argument, which is death penalty, is appropriate. I believe death penalty should not be appropriate because it's expensive. It's more money than having someone
Life in prison, right? Yeah.
And then this refutes the counter argument because it shows how we are wasting money on things that are not useful. Because by killing someone, you're not changing anything.
Yeah, I get you.
It's both ways. If someone killed someone, then there's a thing called you take a life, you lose a life.
Isn't it like eye for eye?
So I use heterogeneous grouping with my students, and I do that to make sure that I have a plethora of learning abilities within each group. You are listening and able to recall. Go.
So to refute the counter argument, which is the death penalty isn't appropriate for some cases, I believe that it won't solve anything. This would refute the counter argument because it would only bring anger to the family's victims. I don't know how to say it, but it won't solve anything. It won't bring back the victim's life. So it's just life in prison would be better.
It's important for an English language learner student to be grouped with somebody who is proficient in the language, so that way they're hearing that academic register from a fellow peer. So they're hearing my meticulous modeling throughout instruction, but to hear it also being modeled from one of their peers is really beneficial. Okay, so the first thing in your groups is you are going to be sharing out your research using the 4 L's. So you are looking at your partner, you're leaning towards them, you're lowering your voice, and you're listening attentively. The purpose of your listening in this activity is to determine if they have facts that you do not have in your research that you need to add to your collection in your Google document. Okay, so the purpose of your listening today is to determine whether they have facts that you do not have in your Google document. Go ahead and repeat that to your groups right now.
The purpose of the listening today is for you to gather facts that you do not have in your research.
All right. Now, I also was very clear as to what's expected that you use while you are sharing your research. What is that? What are we using? What are we using while we share out? Who can tell me? Out loud? The sentence frames. It's very important that we're using our sentence frames to make sure that we are sharing out in complete sentences. It's important to have sentence frames for students to get them practicing speaking in that academic register. On my desks, I have 2 sets of sentence frames. I have one for discussion, and then I have one for collaboration. So one kind of steers more towards sharing out their responses, and then the other is more coming up with a consensus as a group, and then they would use those frames to share out. It's important that they use complete sentences just for that continuous practice of speaking in the language.